I think this is a very relevant topic, not only for startups in travel, but it will be relevant as well for many of you at the audience, no matter the industry you operate in. But let me introduce myself first. I am Esther Villena. I am the Global Head of Social Sustainability at Amadeus. And I drive the team that is responsible for social impact initiatives within our company. As SMEs represent 80% of businesses in travel, and of course, startups are a big part of this group, we decided a few years ago to focus part of our efforts towards empowering startups and small businesses that have sustainability at the heart of their strategy. And that is why back in 2021, we decided to launch Travel for Impact, that it's a training program and a network to support startups and SMEs that have sustainability at their core in order to help them amplify their positive impact through digitalization and collaboration. We designed this initiative in partnership with IE University. We have run 3 editions so far, and we are now in the process of choosing the next 40 startups and SMEs that will join the network next September. And I'm super happy and delighted to be here with these 3 amazing panelists, because they are, the 3 of them, participants of Travel for Impact from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd edition. They are Lars, Natasha, and Jordi, and I would like you to give them a warm welcome. Jordi is from our 1st edition. He's the CEO of Play and Go, a startup that combines gamification, geolocation, and extended reality to enhance user experience and interaction with a destination connecting physical and digital worlds for the traveler. I had to read it because it's too complex for me.
Thank you.
Then Natasha Lermans, she's Business Development Executive at Green Tripper. It's a travel carbon footprint online calculator and API that also provides consultancy services on how to calculate and reduce business climate impact. And finally, we have Lars von der Vettern. I hope I've pronounced it right. He's the founder and the host of Singular Places, that it's a booking platform connecting independent and impact-driven accommodations, hosts and their communities with travelers who want to experience responsible and regenerative getaways. So thanks a million for being with us today. And I think all of you would like to start by knowing a little bit more about who they are. So my first question would be, why did you decide to put sustainability at the heart of your strategy? And maybe Lars, you're right next to me, so you could start.
Yeah, well, thanks first of all for having us, and thank you for listening to this subject, which is very important for our industry, to drive more impact and sustainability. And maybe I take this ball and tell you, I mean, obviously I'm kind of like the oldest guy here, so I had a pretty long career, and I started a standard corporate career, which was not at all about positive impact. It was about bonuses and budgets and quarterly reports. And I then did my own business, which was a little bit better, the first one, 20 years ago, and then we did another one, which was a little bit better. And Singular Places was really when I said, that's it. We must prove that we can put value and positive impact first, like really first. And then we work hard to make sure that we can generate the commercial sustainability within that enterprise. But we wanted to specifically stop growth for growth business financially focused. And this is why really Singular Places is this one project. I really said, now we're going to prove it 100%. Well, we're not perfect, for sure, but the values are the driving force from the very beginning.
That's great. And Natasha, in your case, Green Tripper, like, why? Why did you take the decision to focus on sustainability and travel?
As a climate consultancy agency, sustainability has always been at the heart of everything what we do at Green Tripper. And yeah, travel has unfortunately a negative impact on our planet, but we try to do it our mission to provide solutions to reduce this impact by not only raising awareness, but also by providing tools to that businesses and travelers can use to enable them actually to reduce their impact of their future travels. And we at Greenshipper, so we are focused on the tourism sector, because in the tourism sector, there's just so much potential to create a positive impact, which is an opportunity for businesses to innovate and create awareness.
Thanks, Natasha. And Jordi, in your case, when was that pivotal moment in which you decided to put sustainability like at the core focus of your business?
First of all, I want to thank you for inviting us for this great panel. I thank you all for coming. In our case, really we don't pivot the model, because when we born 7 years ago, we started with the sustainability in our DNA, because it's a key to differentiate from our competitors and overall to offer a high value to our clients. Our like a tech provider, we offer not just solutions but a different solution from other companies in the market. That's combining. What we do is basically combining geolocation, gamification, extended and immersive experiences. But what we want to tell to the market is that we can do the same as other people, but put in the sustainability in all our projects.
Thanks. And I mean, you are all very advanced in terms of sustainability. You already have sustainability at your core. So why did you decide to look into acceleration programs like Travel for Impact? What has been the benefit of you joining such an initiative? Any of you?
We joined Travel for Impact because we want to keep improving and co-create solutions with travel professionals, because yourself, we don't sell travel. So for us, it's important to be part of programs such as Travel for Impact, to understand what the needs and the challenges are of the travel professionals so that we can help them related to their climate ambitions. And Travel for Impact was just a perfect combination of trainings, support, and also networking, which opens doors for collaborations, exchange ideas, and share experiences so that we can learn from each other.
Lars?
Yeah, I love the co-creation. I think that's what we do. You know, you move away in these kind of impact networks. What, again, I also had to learn is you move away from pure competitive growth into co-creation or co-competition. We also like it to compete against some of the bigger players in the main market. So I think this kind of learning experience and connections, I think it's because otherwise you will be unable to do it. And just the sample is like the connections that we even just got today, besides the Travel for Impact network that we were part of, is I'm sure that there will be a collaboration with our side and our guests using your applications and probably measuring with you. It's just so mind-blowing positive, and that's why I can only invite. You will not always find the perfect network, but you always have to give, which is one of the things. You know, you also have to support the others.
Jordi, would you like to add something in this regard?
Yeah, basically is the same. We are used to collaborate with public administrations, with other companies, with universities, with any kind of organism in the ecosystem, because of course we have a very specialized knowledge about technology, but we know other things to offer a product that offers a high value to our clients. For example, we met, of course, another companies in Travel for Impact program, concretely a company that develops experiences for the film sector, and we co-create a product just talking about how can we use technology in order to give value to, you know, when you make a film, maybe you can record 20, 30, 40, a lot of hours of recordings. But finally, you just see 1 hour, 2 hours of the film. But what happens with the other material? Does they go to rubbish? So we take advantage of that material to give the chance to the user to create their own film, to be the main character of that film, using all that raw material, using artificial intelligence, using all the things that we can do. So I need them, they need us, and we offer a product that without that collaboration would be just impossible. So that's an example.
Let's move on to how technology and sustainability interact, because there is an increasing discussion around digital transformation in travel and tourism. We've seen new players bringing new products, solutions, as yourselves, no, to the market. So, Natasha, in your case, you are a company embracing digital transformation and sustainability. So, how do you see technology contributing to sustainability goals?
I think technology is a crucial enabler to achieve our sustainability goals, because a carbon footprint calculator, for example, they will provide us accurate data on our travel impact, and once we know what our impact is, then we can act on it. And also, one specific tool can be a perfect fit for one organization, but it doesn't mean that it's a perfect fit for other organization. And so in this case, if you have a CO2 calculator, we can use the intelligence behind that CO2 calculator to provide different types of CO2 calculators, which answers to the needs of the travel organizations themselves. And with technology, you can also reach a broader audience, way bigger than if you would do it manually, and then you can create a bigger collective impact.
And Lars, in your case, I mean, you work with many accommodations, so how has technology impacted the operations of the accommodations you work with, and as well, how has impacted your own efforts to achieve sustainable outcomes?
That's a good one, because we work especially with the S of the SMEs, so the very small independent companies, and technology there is still not at the level of Amadeus. And we fight with that, because they are still working on the commercial part of digitalization. And measuring impact, measuring what they do is just the next level for them. I think for us it was even because we wanted to be democratic, so that all these little software users, which they paid money for, we didn't want to force them a new software on top that they have to buy. And that nearly killed us as a company, because we needed to connect, 100 different softwares into one platform. So that the power, when you think about it, of digital tools is immense. But I think the problem is connectivity, open plugins. And one of the passionate things that I see is that we will make so many mistakes, and like what you said, everybody will need a different solution. I mean, we have absolutely went perfect on measuring finances. Like perfect. We can tell you on a cloudy Monday on the terrace how many Coke lights from 3 to 4. But we can't tell you how much good social justice have we created in the destination, because we never measured it. So it will be a long journey, but we don't have 100 years. So we need a lot of you guys working on that field together, because we don't. We are users. So, but you make a huge impact for us. Actually.
But you've made a good point, no, around like digital inclusion, no? We need to build like an inclusive ecosystem,
That's exactly.
To empower smaller players, no? Because there is a risk of them being left behind, no? And be excluded of the digital transformation. And Jordi, is there anything you'd like to add? Because I mean, Play and Go is technology. So how do you see this?
Yeah, sure. From our point of view, the tech providers, we need to be, with the last trends of technology. So we have to know all the technology trends, like every month, every couple of months, to offer the market the last technologies that we have. But as well, we need to know the sector, the needs, in order to adapt those last innovative solutions to the needs of the sector. So it's like a race that we need to learn every day a lot of things about the technology, about the market, and that's amazing. For example, we developed some months ago an application for the Ministry of Tourism, where we digitized more than 1,000 tourist resources. We put all that information into an app, include a layer of gamification, put some immersive experiences. Some of those resources are not accessible. So it's the only way for visitors to see them, to learn from them. So that's why, and that's we understand the sustainability, to give the users the chance to see information or to get value from tourist resources, but without impacting on them. That's for new generation. So it's very amazing what we do.
Okay, and anything to add about examples of the connection between sustainability, technology, like in your experience with accommodations like an example of challenges or opportunities that you faced?
It's everywhere. It's the small enterprise. When you digitalize data, it's very difficult. I mean, I don't know how many of you measure at home your impact. Do you actually scan your invoice of electricity, of water? You know, do you measure that already? Now, a hotel has to do that. They have a small structure. They need to have somebody then who scans this, who puts the data in. Then you need a benchmark, because it's a very different moment if you use that water in Nigeria than if you use it maybe in the center of Munich. So yeah, the problem is to find a fair balance of standardization, ease of use, and yet refrain from greenwashing. So you want real data and you want to be honest. And that's probably the struggle that we work. And I think we have found now, I would have said 2, but maybe 3 digital partners that will help us on this journey. Yeah.
Okay, great. And beyond technology, you've already mentioned around collaboration, networking, partnerships. I think these are key for small companies, for startups, and especially for those of you that work on the sustainability niche, because of the challenges that you have ahead. Natasha, how have connections and collaborations helped your company?
Like you said, they're essential for a company's growth and success, because climate change is a global problem. It's only by working together, combining on strengths, co-creating solutions, that we will solve this problem. And there is a saying that I like a lot, and it is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that is exactly what partnerships means to us. It's without them, we wouldn't have succeeded and create all the impact we had created till today. And it's thanks to them that we have exceeded our success or reach and effectiveness.
Jordi, I think you've already mentioned it before, but being part of networking opportunities for SMEs, startups like Travel for Impact and others have added value to you, in terms of potentially building collaborations with other like-minded organizations. So anything to add on that regard?
Yeah, I completely agree with them. This world goes very fast. So this kind of programs helps us to understand the best practices that other people in the same country or all over the world, how they are doing things better. So we can then bring those experiences to our projects. So it's very interesting. I would say that that's necessary to survive in this world, to use this kind of open innovation models with complementary people with different skills, not just from the tech point of view, but as well from the market point of view or another things. So that's a key to develop and to survive in this world. Yeah.
And Lars, in your case, thanks to these collaborations and the insights that you get in these networking opportunities, has this helped you to be more sustainable, or has it generated additional opportunities to push sustainability across the people you work with, the accommodations that you collaborate with?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a straight yes, because you can connect to imperfect solutions, which will not bring you the 100 way on the journey, but they will give you another 20% or a few next steps, and that's crucial. So if you add up a lot of those, the impact can be huge. Like our mapping system is a Spanish startup. Our impact measurement software will be startups from the industry, and they have helped us, and they will now listen to us. Like, by the way, even Amadeus did. They invited us because you wanted to listen to what's the pain of the small guys. So it's a lot of steps that different people will do, from very big to very small. In our case, it was a big help. And just as a small added point, it's also good for your mental health, because when you work in impact startup, sometimes you feel like you're working in a
you share the
pretty alone
struggles,
out there.
and you share the challenges.
And we had a good laugh behind the tent, and even that is just like, all right, I'm not the only idiot trying to do this. So I really can only recommend it. It's good.
Okay, and I mean, this is not a question that we have discussed,
Sorry,
but it's true that as well, because the first edition of Travel for Impact was in Spain. You were all SMEs and startups from Spain. Then we expanded to Europe. The third edition, APAC, Africa. Now the fourth edition is global. So as well, connecting with people from diverse backgrounds. And travel tourism is global, no? So I think as well that diversity of backgrounds, I think, at least myself, I think it's very enriching for me to listen to you. So it's not only you, but you as well add value to us, no? Because you see the challenges differently, and I don't know, what's your
100%.
view about that as well?
Yeah, at our company, we're only two, and
Yeah.
we're two females, so it's not very, very diverse because we're too small to be diverse. But no, of course, it's very important to have people from different backgrounds to learn from each other, and that's how you learn and evolve and grow. So yeah.
You said you had two female founders. I mean, for me, I grew up in the patriarchic white male corporate structure. You try to do that in impact business, you will die. So for me, the inspiration is to work with women that have female leadership qualities. For me, the next big step that I've given me on my to-do agenda is to go and reach out to the BVOC Society, you know, women of color, other founders, because there is a complete new concept how they had to overcome challenges and how we can support them. That is super important, a beautiful added question. I'm a big fan of it, like really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. For example, we, as you, we are a small company, but we have we work in like in a co-working with other companies, like an ecosystem with other startups, other founders, other products, other services, but we always learn from the others. So we give them our experience, they give us, here there is some companies of our ecosystem, so it's good. One of our needs, maybe they have faced that problem in the past. So that's cool. And the program itself, the Travel Impact, it's amazing because of what you said before, that international vision. That's
The beauty of it, no?
Exactly.
Okay, let's move now on to focus more on sustainability, and I would like now to talk about sustainability as a key element for the future of travel. Natasha, from your perspective, how do you see sustainability evolving in travel and tourism?
We see already today that sustainability options, there is a growing demand for it, and I believe that this evolution will continue, even till a part of sustainability will become an integral part of the industry's DNA. And for example, to limit the effects, sorry, my mouth is so dry because of the dry climate here in Madrid, but to limit the effects of climate change, during the Paris Agreement, they have set a goal to limit the rise of temperatures below 2 degrees by 2050. And to achieve this goal, there are several institutions that estimate that we should reduce our annual impact by 2 tons of CO2 per year per person. Knowing that today we emit 10.56 tons CO2 per person. So we should reduce our impact by 8 tons of CO2 by 2060 on an annual basis. And if you hear this, it sounds maybe very difficult and is not easy, but it's not impossible, especially if you know that a return flight from Madrid to Bali in economy class already emits 4 tons of CO2 emissions. So it's already half of that 8 tons that we should reduce. So yeah, so I think sustainability, especially in the travel sector, will be very important to reduce our impact as an individual.
And Lars, Jordi, do you think sustainability is still a trend, or has it become a fundamental shift for the future of travel? Your opinion on that?
Well, we can ask the people, actually. I mean,
We can discuss it later, the Q&A.
I think we maybe want to dream that it's mainstream. I think we have definitely put a lot of seats in, so it cannot be stopped. But are we there? But honestly, can I ask, like, for example, like how many people came here with public transport today instead of a car or a taxi, you know? Okay. Maybe you brought this bottle instead of using plastic bottles. So, I mean, we all have so much in common now that we think around things and plan. But I honestly ask you as well, did you Google for your next trip sustainable hotel or sustainable journey or sustainable sites, or how do you look for them? It's not a judgment, because I have wasted 20 years of my career not doing what I do today. So it's just an inspiration to ask you to keep being part of that seed so it will become mainstream. But I don't think it can be stopped anymore. It's not a fashion. It will not go away. But the more of you that go out there and make different choices, the better for all of us.
What do you think, Jordi?
Yeah, I agree. If we see how the tourism was 10 or 15 years ago, we see how the great difference with today. For example, us in our project, we always make like a comparison between how the project impacts the different sustainable development goals. That is to see our clients how those projects impact in those goals that are common to all the actions that we need to do. So for me, it's not a trend. In all the projects that we present to a public administration, we have to sign. We and all the companies that want to apply to those programs have to sign that we are aligned and we don't, of course, damage all the environment. So for me, it's a trend. It's not a trend, but we are more conscious about that, and we need to do this thing, this kind of projects.
I think it's great that you mentioned now you contribute to the 17 SDGs now, because I want to make a point here about like sustainability is more than environment. Okay, I lead the social sustainability team at Amadeus, so I'm very conscious about that. So the social impact angle, how travel tourism can impact on people, no? Of course, environment key, super relevant, but as well, no? What happens with the people, no? The positive impacts that as well travel and tourism can bring in terms of employment, no? Giving opportunities. So I don't know if you have anything to add around that, no? The social angle of sustainability, and how do you see that? Because we've been focusing a lot on environment, but the social dimension, do you see that as well progressing?
I also think it's progressing. There is a word for it now, like volunteerism. So that you go travel. If you go, for example, I did myself. I went to Sri Lanka for 3 months. So that's the first part. Try to stay for a longer period of time when you try to travel, so that you reduce your carbon footprint per day. And then if you are there, try to give something back to the community. So I did some volunteering work related to ocean conservation, so it was planting corals and so on. It's super fun, and then you also integrate with the local people. And yeah, it's just a very nice way to learn more about the culture, give something back to the country, discover the country, and yeah. So I think it's a crucial part in the tourism.
Yeah, I agree. For example, when we develop our apps, the content that are in our apps, we co-create it with the local people, and as well with the geolocation that we implement in our apps. We, for example, can force the people to move in certain order to see some resources, some tourist resources, or to avoid some massive paths, thinking of the sustainability, but working together with the local community.
And because when I was describing singular places, we talked about regenerative tourism. So that goes beyond sustainable tourism, no? It's that concept, not even, it's been net positive, no? Like how can tourism actually deliver a positive impact?
Well, I think you must enrich the community you visit. You know, that's the very simple way to put your picture. So a very simple step to start with is extraction. So if you're about to spend $3,000, euros, or whatever on a journey, how much will remain in that community, and how much will be equally nicely distributed? So people employing diverse, people creating educational moments. We had in Latin America, one of the properties, which was very remote, built a school in the next village so that actually the parents could get fair jobs in there and didn't have to get shitty jobs because they would need 3 hours every day to take their children to school. That's social justice. This will create a very positive impact. It will create stability. It will create education on boys and girls. And that is so powerful to me. So I think that's how we look at it. And we call it impact overall. And I love that you pointed that out, which goes beyond the maybe green sustainability as we often have the picture. And then you create ecosystems. So sorry to say that, but because you mentioned regenerative, that means that the fields are no longer taken for cheap and fast farming. So people start recreating the ecosystem, and that is when regeneration starts. Because then different type of visitors come, they want different type of food, they want local food, so suddenly you have an independent opening of a restaurant of 2 young people that dare to do this, which maybe they didn't do before. So you have 2 people employed, paying their insurance, paying their family's education, and taking care of biodiversity around them. And that is regenerative at the end.
So it's that multiplier effect.
Yeah, it's just
like,
a lot of seeds. You know, it won't happen with one big solution, but many people doing the right stuff out there. Not us, to be honest. We just connect you to those who do. It's a very luxury position to be in. Yeah,
yeah, but it's connecting the dots, no? In order for this to generate greater impact. Fantastic. And finally, because we would like to dedicate some time to the Q&A, I would like you to share some piece of advice for entrepreneurs and for big corporations like us. So what can big corporations like Amadeus or public entities do to empower startups and to further support you and help you thrive?
First of all, I don't like to give advices to anyone. I just give my experience of what goes well and what was wrong. Play and Go is the third startup I founded. And my no advice would be that a lot of resilience, trust in your idea, cooperation, meet as more people as you can. Don't hide your ideas. Pitch your ideas, because when you pitch some ideas, when you pitch your probably you meet in the place people that help you in co-create a higher value proposition. The important thing is not the idea, it's the execution. That's the key point from my point of view. Of course, all that we are doing, other people in the world is doing the same. But the question is not doing the same, it's how you do that thing in a profitable way. So a lot of resilience and a lot of work, of course.
But if you could write your wish list and say, Amadeus, I would love you to do this, or you said, no, you work with public administrations. Like, is there anything you're missing, or is there any support that you would expect, or?
The problem of the public administration, please don't record this, is that they change every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and all the things that one politician says, then change everything. So you need to trust in you. Not depends on the aids that a public could give you. What we need is like a global strategic program to give trust to the companies, to know what direction to take with our companies, but that is very, very difficult. You need to know all the mechanisms that you can access to it. There are a lot of them. For example, in Spain, you have local helps, regional, national, now the European, international. So just to know everything and just to go to that thing that you think is better for your company. It's not easy.
Lars, in your case, what would you tell big corporate companies, public administration?
To be open to risk. I mean, not to do all small. I think that's not it, but to find a balance, or not even the balance, to allow small people to work with you, to listen to different solutions, because the ecosystem in big corporations might not allow this innovation to shine. And you should see it, even I'm cool if you see it as shareholder value creation, fine. But because of you allowing these small people to shine and to grow, this will then incentivize others to do the same. And that's where we win. I think at the moment it is sometimes very often still the feeling of us versus them, which we should deeply avoid, and become more like, let's do this together.
And Natasha, any practical advice you could give to fellow entrepreneurs here about how to embed sustainability in the day-to-day? What can they do?
You can do a lot. The first step is, of course, to integrate sustainability into your business strategy and to take into account all the environmental but also the social impacts with every decision you make at every level of operations. And so one of the first things you can do is also measure the global carbon footprint of your organization so that you can find areas where you can already reduce this impact. And here it's also very important to include all your stakeholders, so the partners, clients, employees, so that everyone can reduce their impact together. And another advice is also to communicate about your climate initiatives. A lot of organizations are afraid to communicate because they're afraid to be judged, linked to greenwashing, but it is important to communicate, to inspire people. But it's important also to stay transparent, communicate about in a humble way. So don't say that you're perfect because you do this. Talk about, this is my goal, this is my process. If you make mistakes, communicate also about these mistakes. This will be appreciated by clients and it will create loyalty. And also invite feedback and ideas from partners and clients. So yeah, and also don't forget that sustainability is a continuous journey. It is indeed very dynamic, so keep learning and be prepared to innovate.
Like that.
Anything to add? Any advice?
That was beautiful. I really take don't try to be perfect. I mean, when you think about the SDGs, 17 SDGs, and impact people usually try to overthink. I think you should just, in order to try to cover all 17 with your company, try to shine on 3, 4, 5, 6 and be brilliant because other people take care of other things. And that will take a lot of pressure away from you in the beginning. And yes, I mean, the networking we mentioned, it was really beautiful how you described it. So sign that one.
Jordi, you don't like giving advice, but anything to add?
It's important to, when you start a company, when you start a startup, to define very well your mission, your vision, your values,
Purpose.
And try not to separate from them independently of whatever that occurs in your sometimes is difficult because you need to see for the profitability, but when you have doubt, just think of when you started the company, why you started that, and that will give you the answer to make the better decision. And in that definition, your mission and your vision, the sustainability must be there.
Great. Well, thank you very much to the three of you. I think your insights, your expertise has added a lot of value to us. I think we've all learned something new on how to embed sustainability at our core, at our business model. But now we would like to dedicate some time for Q&A. We will open the floor for questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. And somebody, I think, will bring the mic to you. So we have a question here.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for such an interesting panel. I really appreciated what you all said, but I have a question for Lars, if you allow me to. In this case, I'm really interested in knowing what's the criteria that Singular Places uses for acquiring new properties into their network, in terms of sustainability and...
Super question, because we had the 21st places were personally known and selected. So it was like meeting you guys, and I knew how you work, how you live, and what you do in daily life. And because they are singular, they are very different. One is a city center hotel, then there's a Nordic hotel, then there is a safari camp. So we actually have it all on one page. It's independently owned, impact-minded, diversity supportive, all the ecological sustainability, we all have it on one page. But the one very important thing is, it's part of a human blockchain. Somebody must know about you being an impact-driven entrepreneur and having recommended you to us, or being able to visit you because it's not sustainable if we fly. So the criteria is working hard to make the planet better in your little community and to improve every year. But again, we are not pretending to be perfect. Thanks for the question. Very good one.
More questions?
Thank you for all the insights that you all shared. I have a question for Natasha. I think it can be a bit difficult for small companies to calculate their emissions and their carbon footprint. What would you recommend for an SME to overcome this challenge?
The first one is to find a partner which provides these tools, and so that you can find, you have to compare different partners so that you can find the perfect fit for your calculator. But also the budget, relate on the budget, because finding the perfect tool is essential, because today we see quite often that the travel organizations are still recovering from COVID, so they have less personnel, but the number of travels are now at the same level as before the pandemic, and so they don't have a lot of time. So it's very important to take the time to find the perfect tool that suits you, so that you don't not lose time, but that it takes too much time to do it.
Thank you.
No more questions? No?
Hi, thank you so much. It's always so inspiring to listen to you guys. I was thinking, for any SME in the room, maybe not belonging to the travel sector, but wanting to do an impact or having an impact in the sustainability niche, could you share some of your biggest challenges or pains along your way? Like and what would you, how did you overcome it? Yeah, how did you manage? Because I can, so this is so inspiring, right? But maybe along the way it's tough, and maybe, for sure, I feel you guys. So yes, could you please open yourself and share a challenge, and how did you solve it as an entrepreneur?
So, for example, in our case, when we started the company 7 years ago, one thing that we didn't consider very important was the data, was to measure everything that we did. It's said that everything that you cannot measure, you cannot improve it. And what we did, like 2 years after the founding the company, was to measure everything, including all the things related to sustainability. And that gave us the chance to see and to show to our clients that really our products and our services have an impact in what we were doing. So my no advice is to measure everything, not just for sustainability, not just for the business development and profitability and all those things, but as well for your product. We take data from the users when interact with our applications, as well, obviously, always in an anonymous way. But we always give our clients like a dashboard, so they can see in real time everything that is occurring. So they give them value and give value to us to improve our processes. So measure everything, that's my thing.
I have maybe something to add. So one of the things we hear a lot is that clients say, why should we solve this problem? It's up to the policymakers to do it, or it's the other ones who have to solve it. And so we should all actually start taking responsibility for our own emissions and try to break the triangle of inaction. So the triangle, you have the policymakers, you have the businesses, and you have the clients. And the problem with this triangle is so that there is a lack of action, because everyone is waiting on the other one for leading by the example at the start to make this action. And yes, it is indeed the policymakers that should implement regulations and incentives to start, to change, to start that people are more sustainable. Businesses should more innovate, lead by example, but also clients should educate themselves and choose for the most sustainable option, because again, it's not only the policymakers that will change, that will solve the climate problem. It's not only the businesses, nor only the clients. It's all together. So we really have to work all together to solve the climate problem.
More challenges, Lars?
Maybe from me, I think it's absolutely fine, even though you work on impact and we think that this is the big vision. Commercial viability is part of the 4 Cs. You know, it's absolutely okay to talk money. Otherwise, there is no impact if you have to close down. And the second big one, I can tell you, that's the good news for me, ask for help. And be specific, ask for help. And if you are in safe environments, and if you are really open, it can be life-changing, and occasionally for yourself, for your own behavior. But even just, I mean, I'm saying it, if anybody here now, and I put take me by the word, if you're planning a startup in travel, impact-minded, I might not be the right partner for you, but I will connect you to somebody where you can run a pilot project, where you can ask for help more specific to your problem. So ask for help, like really, reach out. And that's the biggest recommendation I can give.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think we're done, no? Nobody else? Okay, oh, another question there.
I was thinking of, sorry? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. When thinking about the future of sustainable tourism or of tourism, when we think about regenerative tourism, how do you envision that future? How do you imagine it? How that future looks like?
I would really take my sample of the enriching village, of where communities grow because they receive visitors, but they also have a happy livelihood. So regenerative tourism starts off moving away from the problems that they have in Barcelona and Canarias here in Spain now with over-tourism. If you can't live in that city, it cannot enrich the city anymore if travelers come. We have to stop that, as simple as that. We have to step certain things in our behavior, you know, and in tourism and travel is one of them. We have to go more regional. We have to do long trips, better planned to reduce the impact. Regenerative is really to create a neighborhood in Barcelona which suddenly becomes accessible for students again to pay rent. And if you build a boutique hotel there, you go for local suppliers. If there are so many restaurants, maybe you select the real local ones so that they get enriched with your guests. You make sure that your guests are not a pain to the local community. Take this to some very poor destinations, economically poor. Careful, not culturally poor. And you create fair jobs in that destination. As I said before, we have a coffee shop in Uganda which sells you coffee and tells you the story why this is helping the gorillas to thrive again. But it's not about the gorillas, it's about the rich community, the village, to stop burning the forest where the gorilla lives, because they have a better livelihood. So there is a whole chain, and it will be different in each destination and community. But it is, if it's not enriching, don't do it. Sorry.
Anything to add?
I think you said it all.
Yes.